What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and today is my first impressions of the OPPO X8 Ultra. I'm going to show you the unboxing and give you my very first impressions, as in I've been using this phone for about 25 minutes, and it might not be what you're expecting. Let's go. So first things first, we have to get out of the way. This is the OPPO X8 Ultra, available in 3 different storage variants, 3 different colours on the Average Dad Tech Store. And for you loyal YouTube viewers, here's a 3% off code for you. Now that that's out of the way, what are my first impressions of the device? Well, firstly, let's talk about the unboxing. I will always highlight and advertise the fact that the Chinese phones come with everything you need. You've got, obviously, the phone inside, but underneath that tray you've got a charger, 100 watts, you've got your USB-A to USB-C cable, you've got your SIM ejection tool, and inside with the manuals you do get a free case. However, I appreciate that they're including a case, but in my opinion, if it's going to be one of those clear plastic silicone things, I'd rather you didn't bother. I hate the look and feel of these cases, so yeah, that'll never get used. Now I want to talk about the feeling I had when I opened the device and turned it on and played with it for the first time. And that feeling was underwhelming. Yes, unfortunately, based on my very first impressions, using it half an hour, I just haven't been blown away. And I don't know if that's because for the past, 2 months now, I've been using the OPPO N5 foldable phone. To me, and this is a bold statement, my favourite phone ever. I have never had this out my hand. That's a lie. This is the black version now. I had the white version, but I decided to change to the black one just because I'm an addict. And this has, to me, everything I want, including the design, the dimensions, the weight. As a foldable, large format foldable phone, this phone has everything I ever wanted, and I noticed it straight away in the unboxing and in my first impressions. With the OPPO X8 Ultra, I wasn't blown away. If I'm being entirely honest, looking at this, you would be forgiven if you thought this was just the X8 Pro, because that camera bump, while it does have absolutely incredibles inside, it's just not big enough for me. And that might be a weird thing to say, but I like a big camera bump. Look at the upcoming X200 Ultra from Vivo. That's a camera bump. Look at the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. That's a camera bump. For me, what OPPO are trying to do is understate the device. And listen, if this was the Pro, if this was the 8S or the 8S Plus, I'm all for that. But when I'm buying an Ultra device, I want it to look Ultra. Look at it beside the N5. Camera-wise, yes, the Ultra is slightly bigger, but it's not by much. And then, when you look at the rest of the dimensions, the outer cover screen on the N5 doesn't seem too much smaller than that of the X8 Ultra. And I know going by dimensions, it's 6.8 inch, but it's just narrower than an Ultra phone that I'm used to from the 16 Pro Max or the S25 Ultra from Samsung. So design and feel wise, nothing says or screams Ultra to me on first impressions. But I have been able to take the usual AD bedroom shots. No, not those type of bedroom shots. The ones from my window. And straight away you can see, listen, the cameras on here, the 5 on the rear. Yes, there's technically 5 cameras on the rear. Yeah, things are pretty good in the camera department when it comes to OPPO and Hasselblad. From ultra wide all the way up to the max 120 times zoom. It is pretty magnificent. And yes, there's AI involved at anything past like 20 times zoom. But like the Honor Magic 7 RSR, it uses AI and it does it incredibly well. I would actually argue, just based on these shots, the OPPO X8 Ultra has the best zoom lens on any phone. And I know, I literally just said that about the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. And a month before I said it about the RSR. But that's just how tech works. What you're going to see going forward more and more is phones using AI to improve all the photography. They've been doing it for years, now they're just implementing it a lot on max zoom. However, with the X8 Ultra, it's not just relying on AI zoom, it has the biggest and best lenses across all 4 rear ones. It's got a 1-inch type sensor on the main, it's got the latest and greatest 3 times larger sensor on the zoom compared to a Samsung S25 Ultra. So it's got the hardware to back up the AI it's using, but don't get twisted, there's a lot of AI in here. And again, on first impressions, these shots look pretty damn good. The one thing that did blow me away and made me think, okay, yep, this is where the cameras come in really handy is video. Only one example here, but it's that same focal range all the way from ultra wide to max zoom on video, which I think is 50x. Pretty goddamn stable and very goddamn clear. So I'm excited to get this out and do a proper camera test. I will compare it to the 15 Ultra, the S25 Ultra and the upcoming Vivo X200 Ultra. A lot of content on that. So if you haven't already, obviously, smash subscribe. So yeah, the cameras are ultra. I just wish they kind of looked like they were from the rear. And then of course it's an OPPO. I've been using one for a couple of months now, and ColorOS is, yeah, pretty goddamn fantastic. I haven't played around with it enough to give you any form of in-depth review or impressions on the X8 Ultra. I've not noticed anything different. It's still ColorOS 15. But as soon as I've used it long enough, I will have a longer and more in-depth review. Obviously, I just know I can expect pretty good features from OPPO. And of course, as soon as I took my X8 Ultra out the box, it found my OPPO N5 and the Smart Clone app just switched everything automatically. So all my apps within about 5 minutes had transferred over. As you can see here, it just emulates the home screen that I have. Now there is something else that takes a bit of getting used to. This being an OPPO device, you are used to an alert slider. It is no longer an alert slider, and I've not done anything with this. Up here at the very top, they have what they're calling a shortcut button. We know it as an action button from the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but they're making it so that you can do, well, actually, just the same things you can do with the iPhone. However, there is another feature on the outside of this device, and it's technically a button, kinda almost exactly like the camera controls you get on your iPhone. They've incorporated it into the OPPO X8 Ultra. But when you have your phone unlocked and you're just resting it in your hand, trust me, you are going to have your finger on here, and straight away it makes the phone go dark. It opens up the camera. Just took photos there. It's just unnatural for whatever reason, whether the iPhone's slightly higher up or it's less sensitive. You hold your phone like this. That is how you hold your phone. Already within half an hour, I've activated the camera app 4 times. So that might just be my issue. When you get your phone, maybe you won't have that issue. Maybe you hold your phone higher up in the middle. Maybe you hold it like a pincer with 2 fingers. But I don't think you do. So something's just not quite right with the camera control button, slider. It's just too sensitive. And the shortcut button I'm fine with, because I can still use it to make my phone silent or make my phone ring. That's what the alert slider's for anyway. Now, I've done a full specs video. I will have a full review and those comparisons. This was just my first impressions. And to summarise, first impressions of the design and overall wow factor are low. I just have to be honest. I fully expect my first impressions and wow factor of the upcoming Vivo X200 Ultra to be much more wow. But for the OPPO, They've gone understated, and that's fine if that's the way they want to do it. But for me personally, as a consumer, I want to see a bit more. And the colours themselves, the white, the black, the pink, I want a vegan leather option. I think this is just compounded because literally a year ago, the previous iteration of the OPPO Ultra device was the Find X7 Ultra. And I know I've mentioned this 20 times. It came in brown, blue and black, all with leather, all with stitching down the middle, all two-toned, and all just looked magnifique. Now we've got white, black and pink. So, that's been my first impressions. I will be back soon with more content on the OPPO X8 Ultra and other phones. Until next time.